Okay, welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be doing a steampunk shabby chic mashup on this cage doll. And you can get these cage dolls at, oh, Bonnie, help me out. What's the name of the store? I'm drawing a blank. Retro Cafe? Was that it? Something like that. It's one of those, I think it's Retro Cafe has them. They have all different styles. This one, I'm not sure what the name of this one is, but I already kind of painted it and assembled it. It was all wood and it comes all apart. So you have to put it together. And this just cut down on what I had to do. And I did put the little, some of the paper on her arms for her sleeves and the little corset and everything, and her face. Paper whimsy, that's it. Sorry. Whew. Drawing a blank. I used a Marie Antoinette face on her, and we're going to give her, she's going to be kind of a Marie Antoinette style. The corset that I used is a Cherry Lynn dye. It's the corset with angel wings, and the number is B363. It's very versatile, and the angel wings are actually this lace piece up here that I have, and then here's the bottom piece, and this would go along the bottom of the corset, but instead I'm actually going to be adding it up here, so it'll kind of look like a collar. Let me hold it up so you guys can see. And you can get all the Cherry Lynn dyes that I'm going to be using tonight through Christine. She's not on right this minute, but she will be. And her blog is Because Every Picture Has a Story to Tell.blogspot.com. I will also be using these wings, which is the number on these wings is B359. I will be using the Hearts and Gears, and that is B378. Yep, I read that upside down right. And I'll be using the Gears Butterfly, which is B367. So these are the dies that I will be using tonight. Let me put them off to the side. And like I said, you can get them from Christine. And she is Miss C5 if some of you don't know who she is, which I'm sure you do. Most of you do anyway. Yeah, I love the wings too. Just checking the viewers to make sure because I'm doing the giveaway. Okay. Alright. So let's get started on this. I actually have hot glue. And I think we're going to start, I'm going to put a skirt halfway around her. And what I've done here is I have a sheet, it's like 12, this is a 12 by, I don't know what the width is, what did I cut this to, but it's going to depend on what size cage doll you get. So for this doll, I cut it at 4.5 inches. Yeah, 4.5 inches. And all I did was score on my score mat every ½ inch. And then fan folded them. The paper that I'm actually using tonight is a new paper pad that I got at Hobby Lobby. And it's called Kirby Teasdale Studio, and it's very, very shabby chic paper. Look at that. Oops, let me get my, it's just really, some really pretty paper. I'll just flip through it real quick. There's that one, and the one, I'm looking for the one that I used. It's in here somewhere. This one is so pretty. butterflies. Trying to find the one that I used. Oh, I did use this one for the inside because these aren't double-sided paper. And let's see. Where are you? Oh, I used this one. And it worked out perfectly because I kind of cut this, and I have this scroll work. When it comes around the doll, this will be on the front edge, so it kind of looks like embroidery. So the paper is Kirby Teasdale Studio by the Paper Studio Company, and I got this at Hobby Lobby. So we have this, and I have my doll assembled, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this around here just like this, and we're going to get this, I'm going to get this lined up, and I'm going to glue this right on here. And this is, I'm using hot glue because it adheres fast, and once I get it in, it's going to stay there. I gotta wait for it to cool down so I can move on. So it'll hold it. Okay. So I'm just gonna come around this way now. And whoops. Kind of put some glue. And I'm just putting in a little hot glue and then holding it in place. Super, super easy. I am making a cage doll, and it's a Shabby Chic Steampunk mashup that I'm doing. Okay, so let me get I'm just gluing that doll, or that doll, not the doll, the dress part. And last little section, and then I'll show you what it looks like so far. And we're not done, so don't worry. We'll be covering up. I just need to glue this real quick. Okay, so this is what I have so far, and you can see the front's open, so you can see inside her dress, and we'll be putting stuff inside there. And then here's the back. Yeah, it kind of looks like a lampshade, and there's that scroll work. It looks like embroidery. And I have glue strings. Hang on, pulling my glue strings off. Okay, so now that we have that, I also made this little top piece that's going to go over top of this, and it's kind of a scalloped piece, which I gotta squish it a little bit because it kind of... And this is super, super easy to make. What I did is I have the old... This is old school. It's a colozzle. And you cut an oval. And then you're going to cut it the width of the oval. So you're going to cut it exactly how I have this sitting. You're going to cut it just like that in half. And then you're going to stick it on your scoreboard. And you're going to score every 1/4 of an inch. And then fan fold it. And I did, let's see, 1, 2, I cut out 3 ovals. And then I glued them together. And this is what it makes. Okay, Miss Chris Okla. Nice to have you here. I'm going to write your name down because I'm giving away 2 Cherry Lynn dies at the end of the show. And I'm going to put you in my little box. And I might draw your name. Okay. Did I miss anybody? No. Okay. I'll probably stop every few minutes just to check to see if there's any new people that I have to add. Okay. So to glue this down, first I need to tighten up my little pleats. And then you just... I glued them all together. Whoops. Okay. I'm actually going to use not hot glue for this. I'm going to use my Beacon 3-in-1. And I'm going to turn her around because I need to center. Okay. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue where the center is. Oops. Come on. Any other time this glue I don't have a problem with, but tonight, of course, I am going to have a problem. So we're just going to kind of bunch it up. And you'll see what it'll look like when I get this all done here. I'm just trying to get it all punched up right here. Okay, got the other side to put on. And I needed a little bit of glue right in here because it's not holding. Okay. So let me wipe this off. Well, we're glad to have you. I'm going to let this tack up just a wee bit. And while we're doing that, I'm going to show you how, I'm going to let this sit. Oh, here, this is what it looks like now. So I'm going to let this sit over here for a few minutes, just to let that glue dry a little bit. And I want to show you how I made these wings. So I see how fluffy they are. Well, what I did was I cut out 2 wings out of heavy like cardstock, and I just grabbed out of my scrap bin something that was heavy enough, and then I cut 2 more wings out of vellum. Okay, and what I did was I glued the vellum wing to the paper wing, and on both paper wings. So we're going to glue this down, and I'm just going to use some glossy accents for this. Where did I put my pin? There it is. Okay. Only because this glue has more of a precision tip, and you have a very small spot where you can kind of glue this down. Alright, let me get right here. Alright, so then I'm just going to line up the vellum wing. Oops. And I'm just going to glue it down. Alright. So there, I got the paper. You can see the layers. Let me pull. Pull that up just like that. So there you got 2 layers there. Okay, and then I have this side already glued, and that's 2 layers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these 2 layers to these 2 layers, just like this, and then that is going to give us a very full, fluffy wing. Almost realistic looking. And then I'm just going to hold that. And then once we get it, we let it sit for a minute, then you can fluff it up. And this gives you a nice full wing, which I like. It looks more realistic doing the layers. And I always have vellum on hand because it makes a nice inside layer, especially fluffing something like, doing like wings, and they're great for like dresses too, like if you want to fluff up a dress, things like that. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just fluffing out the tips of the wings and giving them a little twist and a curl and kind of separating it from the vellum. And there's several. I love these wings because it's not just the ends that you can fluff out. There's actually these center parts that you can fluff out. And oh my god, I just love these wings. If you do a lot of like angel stuff, or even steampunk stuff, I mean, this, or if you just like wings, this is an awesome die. And they cut out like butter. I had no problem. So now I got a nice full wing, as you can see. I'll hold that up. See that? I'll turn it so you guys can see how fluffy that is. So it actually looks like feathers when you get all done. So that's how I did the wings. And that die, again, is, the number is B359. And you can order these from Christine. She is Misty5. And oh, I have to allow links. I forgot all about that. Christine, you gotta throw up your link so if people want to get the wings, they can. This is a very versatile wing, and I like it because it actually, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like feathers. There's like little slits on the edge of the wing. Let's see if you can you see that? So it actually looks like feathers when you start fluffing these out. Okay. So, okay, we're leaving the wings. Now, I have taken, these are the Shabby Roses, and you can get them from Frog Feathers on Etsy. And what I've done is I've just cut, let me move her for a second. I've just cut out that center part. Here's the little center swirly part. So I basically just opened it up. So if this was in here, this is going to make the rose. So I have 4 of them, and I misted them with a little bit of Lindy's, and this is the Starburst Spray Cadbury Milk Chocolate. And then I went over it with the Creme Brulee Cream. So I used these 2 colors. And I just did a light mist with the brown. So we're going to add this. This is going to be her little bustle that's going to go over top here. So we're just going to kind of gather this up a bit in the back. And I'm going to glue it down. And here again, I'm going to use my 3-in-1. Yes, they are the Steampunk wings. So I'm just going to add some glue on here, and then we're going to bunch this up. Just a little bit. And I'm just going to continue on over here. I got to get under the hand here. Okay. So I'm just going to stick that one down. kind of bunching it up a bit. Now I'm going to fuss with it. Fluff it up. Okay. And then I'm just going to, you can see what that looks like so far. And then I'm just going to add some in here just to fill in this back part just a wee bit. So I'm just going to add some glue. My beacon glue does not like me today, I'm telling you. And I'm just kind of really bunching it up back here just to fill this in. Oops. We will get this. So this is kind of going to be her little, their little bustle that they used to have back in the day. I don't know how they walked around with these suckers. Who wants something that makes their butt look bigger? That's the way I look at it. Okay, so that is her little bustle in the back. Yeah, these are the large wings, by the way. They do sell smaller wings. I'm sorry. These are the large ones. That's a pretty good size. So I have and these little rosies that I cut out of the center are not going to go to waste because I'm actually going to use them for the front. I just have to mist them really quick here. Okay, what was the question, Cindy? I missed it. It's probably way up in the chat and I didn't see it. I'm waiting to see. Cindy, did you ask a question? Because Christine put up there that I would know the answer to it, and I just wondered what you were looking for. Yeah, actually, They would. They would be perfect for those Julie Nutting stamps. I don't have any, but I know what the sizes are on them, and the wings would be fine. So right now I'm just adding the little flower centers that I cut out from the Shabby roses on the top in the front. So I just added those right in the front there. And I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of lace. I'm deciding if I want to add some lace along this one edge here. Or if that would be too much. I think that would be too much. Okay, so let's work on her sleeves. And what I've done is I've taken the, oh, I forgot the name of this ribbon. You know that see-through ribbon stuff? What is that? Oh my gosh, my brain is not working tonight at all. Anyway, I took a needle and a thread and I just did a running stitch up the middle of the ribbon and then gathered it. So this is going to be her sleeve that I'm going to kind of try to position it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Well, how about I just glue it, because the positioning part is not working out too well. So we're just going to glue it on. And then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so there I gave her kind of a poofy sleeve. Can you see the poofy sleeve? Gotta adjust it just a wee bit here. Alright, so I gotta put the other one on. Oops, I just grabbed the hot glue gun instead of the... I have to keep cleaning my beacon glue because it's not cooperating. Okay. This might be an easier way to do it. We will see though. Worked. Okay. So I'm just fixing, adjusting a little bit. Let me see. Kind of did this blindly. Okay, so there's her sleeves. Oops. Okay. So now that I have the sleeves on, I'm going to add before we go any further, I'm going to put the stuff inside her skirt. Oops. Okay. So I have to lay her down in order to get to the inside here. So I just got to figure out, probably best to lay her down that way. Of course, then again, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to lay her down. These are the, what is this? The hearts and gears. And there's 2 of them in there. You get both dies. And here again, I just cut them out of some cardstock paper that I got out of my scrap bin. And the number on this is B378. So then that's what that looks like. And I am just going to glue this heart right in here. Let me see, is that right? Hang on. I gotta make sure I got this. Yeah. Okay. So I'm putting a good amount of glue on there because we're gonna stand here and hold this for a minute. Oops. Till it at least dries. Yep, that worked. And then this little heart, I'm actually going to add it right there. Okay. So, let's see. Oop. Oh, let's try not to glue it to the table. That would help a lot. So there is what I put on the inside of her dress. And that's the cage part of the doll. And you can do anything you want inside here. I decided to put the gear hearts in there. And I'm going to, I have some metal gears here that I'm going to probably, I might add some, or not, I don't know. I think I kind of like to leave it and add the gears maybe up here along her little dress up here, but we'll see. So I have to add her wings now. So what I'm going to do is I got to try to get them You know what? I'm gonna have to push this up like this so I can add her wings. So I'm just gluing her wings on. See, I got one wing on in the back, and I kind of have them just gently kind of glued in that one little corner, which I'm going to go on this side now and glue this one on. And you just want to line it up and not burn your finger. Ouch! So there's her wings. And I'll show you the back. Oh, Froggy's here. Hi, Froggy. I gotta write your name down. I gotta take up a little small break and write a few names down here for the drawing. Folding you up, Froggy, and putting you in the bin. In my little box there. Let's see, who else did I miss? Who did I miss? Okay, we have... I have Luis Lana. I wrote your name down. Welcome to the show. Are you new? And Lori, I'm going to write your name down. And I think I have everybody else. Tracy, I got to add you in. Okay. Putting your name in the box. All right. So let's go get back to our doll. So you're probably wondering, why is her hand up like that? Well, I have this big old butterfly, and this is the Gears butterfly, B367, and I cut out two of them and then traced out the pattern of the die onto vellum and cut that out and put vellum in between the two layers of paper. So it makes like a nice sturdy butterfly. And this butterfly is so cool because it's got the, this center part, the tail part, looks like a clock hand. So she is going to, I'm going to put the butterfly right here like it's going to, it's taking off out of her hand. And I'm just going to do a quick glue down. I'm going to use hot glue because it just dries a lot faster. Just holding it till it dries there. And then in her other hand, I actually have this metal clock, and I have glue strings all over my hands. Hi, Lana. Nice to meet you. And she's going to hold this in her other hand, which her arm is loose. Hang on, I got to glue her arm. We don't want her arm to fall off. Then we'll have to put her powdered wig on her, which I made from cotton balls. So I'm just going to put this in her hand. So there she is. She is, the butterfly is taking off from her one hand, and I have a clock in the other hand, which you can't see with the glare on it, but that's what she's looking like so far. And then, of course, we have the heart gears in the center in her cage. Oh, thank you. So what I've done is I took just a cotton ball and I just kind of shaped it into a powdered wig. And then I took some, where is it? See what happens when I clean up? Oh, right in front of me. I took some Adirondack alcohol ink, the Mixative Silver, this stuff, and with a paintbrush, I just lightly painted it because back then their wigs kind of had like a silvery color to them. They almost looked like they were walking around with gray hair. So let's see, what kind of glue do I want to use? Probably hot glue. So let's get this on the top first, and then we'll worry about the rest. Get my glue strings off if you're wondering what I'm doing. I just have to put a little bit of glue in the back because I got to bunch it up. So I got to kind of lay her down and hopefully nothing falls off. So there's her with her hair now. Yep, now she looks like Marie Antoinette. Or Mama from Mama's Family. Yep. Yep, she is Marie Antoinette. I just gotta put... I don't know if I want to use this glue, but we'll give it a shot. I just want to make sure her hair doesn't fall off because I want to put some gears in her hair. And I have some of these gears that we are going to glue on. And I'll show you in just a second. So I gotta be careful not to smush her hair. There we go. Oh. I'm just going to add the rest of the gears into the front here, and then I'm going to grab some a little bit of rhinestones, and we're going to dress her up just a wee bit more. And then I'll turn her around so you guys can see what she looks like. As soon as I get... Ouch! I need to stop burning myself. And we're probably going to add a few little roses and stuff on here. Alright, so this is what she looks like. I got her gears in her hair. Let's see if I can get it angled. So I have some, want to scrap, these are the little mini blings, the baby bling rhinestone that I'm using. And I am going to add, her gear's falling off. I gotta glue her gear back in her hair. There we go. I'm just going to add some rhinestones at the bottom of her sleeve here, so it kind of looks like a bracelet. Oops. Where did that go? Oh, gotta get another one. It'll show up. I lost a little bling. Okay, that one didn't have any sticky on it. It's, you can order these from Paper Whimsy or Retro Cafe, and they're actually made out of a wood composite. They're very sturdy. And they're not that expensive. They're fairly cheap. And they have different sizes. They got like a small and a large, and they have different styles. They have ones that have the bendable arms too. That's really cute. And then we're going to put some around her neck. So it kind of looks like a... Actually, I want to put one there in her hair. And in there. Ah! I dropped it. I don't know if I can... Ah! I'm having a terrible time with these little tiny blings. There we go. I got it that time. She does need like a necklace of some sort around her. I think what I'm going to do is use some of this trim because I don't think I'm going to be able to get my fingers. Or actually, I kind of like that around the sleeve. We're going to put some of this little trim around the sleeve. I'll have to figure out something else for a necklace. I'll have to get creative. Okay. Just making a sleeve if you're wondering what I'm doing with this trim. And then should have brought my daughter up here. She could be digging around in these little tight corners for me. I'll get it. There we go. I got it. Alright, one more piece around the sleeve on the other side. I think this will be big enough. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There. I can't really tell what I did because it's kind of cream on cream, but can you see right on the edge of her sleeve I have a little piece of trim. Okay, so now I want to add some rosies, I think, or some flowers, not rosies, but let's see what I have over here. I'm looking for, hang on. Let's see. What do I have? I'm kind of looking for like a teal. That might work. Just digging in my flower bin here. Here's another one. That one's kind of too big. We will find a flower to put there. I do have these. I wonder... Nah, those are too dark. Looking to see if I had any small pink roses, but I think I'm all out. But we'll find something that'll work. We'll add some color. They don't have to be pink. Ooh. Looking for one more yellow rose, which I don't see. How do I not? I am making a mess. I am just absolutely making a mess here. That's okay. I have these green ones here we can use. They'll go. And I have like a peachy color we can use. Oops. Not a wet one. And I gotta get my looking for my wire cutters. Alright. Snip off the wires off of these and we'll get them glued on. And I'm just getting these roses glued. I got awfully silent. Apparently I can't talk and work at the same time. And I think I'm going to add a pink one. I did find one pink one. And we're going to add just a touch of pink in there. So I added some little roses on her. On the top of her dress. And then she's got the gears inside. And here's the back. Oops. And there's the skirt. And the little bustle. And her wings. Let me tilt it back so you can see her wings. I will take pictures of this and post it, because, you know, doing a show, the video quality really doesn't do this any justice. I'm gone. I'm right here. Okay. You guys scared me for a minute. I'm like, what did I do? I didn't even touch my computer. Don't scare me like that. Okay. So I think she's done. You know, I don't want to overdo her too much. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Thank you very much. Does anybody need me to go over the dyes that I used again? Christine has them available on her blog. And her blog is Because Every Picture Has a Story to Tell.blogspot.com. And these are the ones that I have out. And the wings are B359. And the corset that I used on the front of her dress, that is B363. That's the number on that. And let me make sure I have everybody's name down. I think I do. So I'm going to close up my box and I am going to draw the first name. And today, oh, I didn't even show you the dies. Today I am giving away the lace corner deco edges, and you can see what they look like. Oh, the wings have 2 sizes, yes. And then I'm giving away the little birds. And these dies can work in your Sizzix machine. It works in all, like Cuttlebug. What does it say? Revolution, Big Kick, Wizard, Epic. I've never even heard of some of these machines, but that's okay. So I'm going to shake up the names that are in my box. And I'm going to hold it up. It's above my eye level. And I am going to draw the first name. And the first name is Lori. So, Lori, you have to PM me or one of my moderators your address so I can mail out the bird die to you. Congratulations, Lori. I don't see her responding. Lori MT, that's the screen name you're using. You won. And I'm going to need your address. Yeah, I know. But there's a delay. She could have. Alright, I'm shaking this up for the next one. She may not be here anymore, but after I draw this, if I haven't heard from her, I'm going to pick another name. She was putting groceries away. Okay. Drawing another name. Let's see who wins. Oh my goodness. Miss Froggy, you have just won the lace corner decos. Congratulations. I can't even talk. Congratulations, Froggy. I don't have Lori on my Facebook, I don't think. So I'm not sure what to do here because how is she going to know if she won? Okay. Lori, are you out there? I need a response. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pick another name. You have her on your Facebook, Froggy? Okay, well, let's do this. Why don't you send her a message and let her know that she won and that she needs to friend me on Facebook and give me her address. And if she doesn't give me her address, I'm going to keep these names in this box. I'll randomly pick somebody and I'll let you know. Oh, Lori, there you are. You won. You won, honey. You won the bird, Cherryland bird dies. And I'm going to need your address. So if you could, you won the die. This die right here, Lori. The little birds. I need your address so I can mail it out to you. You can send it to me. Are we friends on Facebook, Lori? Oh yeah, for the cage doll that I used, I got that at Paper Whimsy. You can either private message me your address on here, Lori, or you can, if we're friends on Facebook, you can send it on Facebook. Oh, you don't have to put it in the chat. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'll write it down really quick. Sorry guys, I'm writing down. Okay. I will get all the winners, the two winners, their dies out this week. And I want to thank everybody for coming, and I'll show you the doll one more time in case somebody has missed it. can get it closer. I will take pictures and post it on Facebook. And here's the, oh, I forgot to show you. Inside her cage is the heart and gears. And there is the back of the dress and her wings. Oh, thank you guys for coming. It's going to be a couple of weeks before I will be back because I have my grandson's birthday party next weekend and my daughter's getting married the following weekend. So I will not be streaming for a couple of weeks. And I just want to thank everybody for coming. And Lori, I have your address. And Foggy, I know I have yours. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Yes, I'm going to have a wonderful time with everything. Good night, everybody. Oops, I just dropped something.